Hello, my dear listeners. My name is Kishore Ganesh, and in this episode of the Vocal About Visuals podcast, I'll be reviewing Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Su, Jamie Lee Curtis, Huy Quan, and others. It was written and directed by the duo of Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, hence the title of the review that I'm actually quite proud of. Damn, Daniels. Everything Everywhere All at Once has been nominated for a number of Oscars, including Best Film, Best Directors for the two Daniels, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Actress. Well, two Best Supporting Actress nominations actually for Stephanie Su and Jamie Lee Curtis. I've put out a rough version of my predictions on my Twitter, but will put an even more polished version pretty soon because it is my duty. LOL. Now, getting into the review, Everything Everywhere is one of those bona fide award season darlings that came into my horizon with a lot of hype. In fact, I heard about the hype way before I even saw the film. With that comes both excitement and caution to watch the film and to not get swept away with all the hype, respectively. And I'm happy to say that the film is definitely worth the hype. Everything Everywhere is a tremendously difficult script to picturize because here the makers are trying to bring their philosophies and ideas onto screen, and they achieve this by using metaphors. And of course, using metaphors in other media is fairly simple, but in films, when you have to, again, bring them to life in a way, it is quite a task, and to the credit of the makers, they pull this off. Mild spoilers here, but how the makers have created the various versions of ourselves that exist thanks to the choices that we make at the major junctures of our lives is extremely inventive to the point that it is downright bonkers. And that's the brilliance of this film. It manages to be great cinema, but not at the cost of entertainment. It is weird, bonkers, edgy, and wild, all the while being an Oscar contender, breaking the stereotype of how Oscar films have to be drab, slow affairs. This film is actually an action adventure film with superpowered villains and heroes who are trying to spread the message that love conquers all. And if you are a fan of discussing things like what could have been the thought process behind that scene, or what does that character represent, or what do you think the makers meant when that character said something, then this film has more than enough fodder for those kind of conversations and thoughts. Basically, this is a great film. You could do a lot worse than checking this out. Coming to the performances, I don't think there are any badly written characters in this film, let alone bad performances. Every one of them was apt and almost all of them were brilliant. My personal favorite is the character portrayed by Huy Quan called Waymond. The man's range is on full display here. From meek to suave, from vulnerable to strong, he pulls off all the facets of Waymond brilliantly. And coming to the actors on whose shoulders this film is placed on, there is of course the legend that is Michelle Yeoh, who's making quite a case for Best Actress here, as the harried middle-aged woman Evelyn, whose own individuality has been hijacked by circumstance, or to put it more accurately, and one that should inspire a ton of empathy. And the brilliance of Stephanie is that in all the scenes that she's there in, it is really hard to not think that she's the biggest and the most important part of that scene. But this doesn't happen to the detriment of other actors who share screen space with her, and that's down to the brilliant writing and direction of Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. I wouldn't be surprised if Yo and Sue end up with the lead and supporting actress Oscars, and I'm hoping that Mr. Kwan gets the supporting actor Oscar. This film is doing its award season run in select theaters in India. If you can, please do catch it. Before I forget, I have to quote unquote give some flowers to Jamie Lee Curtis, who here is playing an absolute doc with an empathetic soul, who over the course of the film stole my heart. She's lonely, she's idiosyncratic, she's weird, but none of these characteristics, nor do her circumstances, change the good person that she ends up being. And I think that makes her inspirational and, on a personal level, one of my heroes. Superb character, superb acting. Once again, my name is Kishore Ganesh, and this has been an intentionally very vague, almost spoilerless review of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Thank you, my dear listeners, for your time and for listening. Please do give this podcast a follow on your preferred podcast platforms and on YouTube. And for links to my upcoming episodes, some chatter about Arsenal FC, and random thoughts about movies, please do consider following me on Twitter and Instagram at Podcast Plural. Thank you.